Hey, everybody. It's last week from the table, and I'm your host, DM Gallibond. When you are in a game sometimes, whether you're sitting behind the screen or whether you are one of the players, things in the session are not always going to play out the way you expected. As the DM, you may be expecting your players to do one thing, they do something completely different. As the players, you may expect that your DM is going to present something to you, and something else completely different comes up. Well, I'm here to tell you, having been on both sides of the table when situations like this, the only thing that you can do is try to push forward as best you can. You won't always salvage the session on the night, but if you think about it, you can learn from that session and use it going forward. That's a little bit of the theme of our last week from the table for tonight, September 8th, 2020. Let's get on with the show. All right, on Thursday nights, we play the Sword Coast Chronicles. And the Sword Coast Chronicles is our survey of the 5th edition published campaigns. Right now, we are in the Tyranny of Dragons storyline, and the party is at the cultist camp near Greenest. They had survived the attack on Greenest, followed the cultists back to their encampment, captured a few of the cloaks and everything, and had done a scouting mission in there, freed a hostage, got back to Greenest. When they got back to Greenest, the hostage told them, "Oh, wait. I heard there's rumors that they have dragon eggs that they are trying to incubate in that camp, in that cave that you saw over there. You probably need to go back and deal with that." The party was like, okay, great. So they went back and they found the camp mostly abandoned. Thought they were going to just kind of walk in and see what was what. Well, they got into the cavern, found the cavern actually very well defended by a number of humanoid cultists and kobolds, and two of the leaders of this particular cell of the Cult of the Dragon. They made enough noise and caused enough trouble that they essentially pulled the entire dungeon down on themselves and got themselves captured. Um, we had played through all of that, and at the end of the previous session, the cavalry had come in the form of a number of people from not only Greenest but some of the other towns in the area, and they rescued the party. But because the players failed a skills challenge, two of the cult leaders got away. And the dragon eggs were destroyed in the fight with those that were coming to rescue them. I had decided that one of the things I would do if they won the skills challenge, I would leave the eggs intact and give the players the option of what to do with them, because the book makes mention that they're very heavy and they're very delicate and very hard to move. However, if you can figure out a way of moving them, they can be extremely valuable, because there are some really rich idiots that will pay handsomely for a viable dragon egg and try to hatch the stupid little dragon hatchling. Just like there are people in the US who say, "Oh, the tiger cub is so cute. We want to get a tiger cub and raise it as our very own." Yeah, okay, well, just ask Siegfried and Roy how that works out. So, it's uh, it's the same thing if you get a dragon egg and you try to hatch it. Eventually, dragon's going to be a dragon, and it's probably not going to work out so well for you. Because you are not Khaleesi. So anyway, the because we started at a point where they had been freed and the enemies had been driven off, the players sort of expected that uh, the whole searching of the caverns was going to be just sort of handed to them on a silver platter. That anything that was relevant or important to the plot was just going to be given to them. And no, D&D doesn't work that way. If you want to find something that's relevant to the plot, you got to work for it. So I was forcing them to actually go through the motions of trying to search through that. And these people are all pretty good role players. And I was also expecting that with them being devoid of enemies, be a good chance for the characters to sort of chat with each other and find out a little bit more about each other and those types of things. And that just didn't happen because they were all kind of, well, what are we doing here? Why are we still here? And they were very, very resistant to uh, trying to figure out what they should do. So it felt like they were having to be dragged through um, the cavern, and I was fortunate that, I had the device of several people that were allies and some of the leaders of those allies coming to them and going, well, hey, what did you find? What did you discover here? There's this whole, this appears to be their command center. Have you gone through and have you found any notes or any maps or any indications of what they're up to? And, they finally had to realize, oh, we're supposed to do that. And go and do that. And they realized it wasn't going to just be handed to them. So that was a little disappointing to me, and they were a little confused about what they were supposed to do for whatever reason. It seems like it should have been obvious, but uh, what's obvious to me because I know the story may not always be obvious to them because they may not know the story in the same way. So we got through the session. They found most of the major plot point stuff that's going to help them. They were able to get back to Greenest and then got a summons to El Terrell. And because that whole business with searching the caves took a lot longer than it should have because they were dragging their feet and they were being, uncooperative, then um, we didn't have as much time to do some of the more fun things like having random encounters and things like that during their travel to El Terrell that I had planned. So I just hand waved most of that and got them to El Terrell so we could start there next week. So in the session this week, they will begin at El Terrell where they will be reunited with Leeson, who is the person that summoned them, and he's told them that they will also be meeting a paladin named Onthar Froome, who is someone that figures in the backstories of a couple of the characters that when we went through and we picked backgrounds that would tie in to the campaign, a couple of them randomly rolled the ones that included Onthar Froome in them. So there's a couple of people that know who he is and have an idea about him when we get to El Terrell. Then on Sunday afternoons, we are doing our Walker of Waterdeep campaign. This is at 2 p.m. Eastern, also on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Gallibond. Walker of Waterdeep is a planeswalking campaign where we are traveling through the different planes of Magic the Gathering. On Sunday, they finished up in Innistrad, and they were able to get back to one of the two areas that they have as kind of home bases. They teleported back to Ravnica. The party started off as a party out of Waterdeep in Toril, and then due to some incidents that happened there that revealed, oh, uh, there's this whole threat to the multiverse, and someone they know may be connected to it somehow. They got a visit from the Ravnicans, who took them to Ravnica. Uh, The Waterdeep leadership decided a party makes the best ambassadors, and is a pretty potent fighting force as well. And so they are now working on behalf of both the Ravnikins and the Waterdavian leadership, and traveling to other planes to get things done. They went to Innistrad to find some material they need um, for their friends back in Waterdeep. They also went to track down some things that are needed by their Ravnican allies. And we had a similar situation at the near the beginning of the Sunday session. Well, we had to call the previous session in the middle of a fight because we just ran out of time to get that fight done. And when we started on Sunday, we finished up the last couple of rounds of that fight, and then they were in a situation where they had pretty much cleared out a stronghold of their enemies. And due to some uh, unexpected allies in the form of my enemy, the enemy of my enemy may not be my friend, but they're probably not going to kill me today. Um, in with the unexpected help of some of that kind of air quotes allies, the party was able to uh, pretty much have all of the resistance in the stronghold dealt with. And so, based on what happened on Thursday, I asked the players on Sunday, okay, I'll give you two options. You can take a rest here, and while you take your rest, we can hand wave that some of you will go, and search throughout the stronghold and find, see what you can find. And instead of actually playing through that and taking the time to do that, I will just roll some percentile dice, figure out how much of the stuff you actually found, and I will tell you what it is during the week. That's one choice. The other choice is you can actually go through an exhaustive room by room search of this entire facility, find everything that there possibly is to find, see if there's any important plot stuff here, and then get on with the rest of that. Well, as a group, they voted and they opted for option A. So this saved a whole lot of time. It was not, uh, you know, they potentially are going to miss out on some important plot stuff because they were too lazy to go and do that. And that's too bad for them. But it also means that the players have a little more agency in uh, how they pursue the uh, campaign. So I used a little bit of the experience from Thursday night to guide how we were going to do that on Sunday, so that we didn't run into a similar issue. I think I don't know what it is with players today. They just seem a little lazy, and if it's not, if they're not rolling dice, um, they don't think they're actually playing D&D. The players say they like role playing, but they generally only like role playing when they have NPCs to talk to. They don't do a whole lot of role playing when it's them talking to each other, which is a little disappointing. I'm hoping that I can force them into situations where they have to learn how to build scenes off of each other instead of building scenes off of some interesting NPC that pops up in front of them. Because I think when you have characters working with each other, then you get a lot of the best character development and some of the best moments of the game. And as the DM, some of the most interesting stuff that I can tease out of those conversations and use to seed additional elements of the plot down the road come out of that, because then that actually is using things the players generate to be part of the future of the game. And then whether they realize it or not, I think subconsciously that helps them be more invested in the game because, oh, this is actually something that I was thinking about, a couple of months ago, and now here it is. And it's like, well, yeah, because you gave me the idea when you were having that conversation with this other character. So that's what I'm driving at, and occasionally that will happen, but I just wish that was more consistent. I wish I had, you know, DM problems here. I wish I had the kind of players that, you could I could shut up for 5 minutes, and before I know it, they would be building an entire scene by themselves. That would just be awesome. And and I would be able to sort of figure out, oh, okay, I can do some things here, I can do some things there, I can do some things there, and it all goes back to what they were talking about in that scene they developed. Okay, well, Walker of Waterdeep, it should be fun because this next coming up, I have warned them. There's going to be some one-on-one where each of them is going to have a chance to interact with the guilds that they chose before. There are two players who have never been to Ravnica because their characters were not part of the game the last time the party was here, and so they will be courted by representatives of guilds to see if they can be enticed to join any of the guilds or not. That's an optional thing. And the other thing is that I want to do a scene with one character and then do a scene with the whole group and then do a scene with another character and a scene with the whole group and a scene with another character and a scene with the whole group, because I have found myself in the past where I will sometimes get a little preoccupied and I will want to get through the scenes with all of the characters. So I'll start and I'll just go and I'll just go and I'll just go and I'll just go. And I realize then that, after 2.5 hours, there's been one person just sort of sitting there that all they've been doing is listening the whole time and they haven't had a chance to be involved actively in playing. And so I think breaking it up with one-on-one interaction and then group interaction and then one-on-one and then the group and then that can help them. I also encourage the players to make use of the Discord chat while we are in the game so they can send messages, text messages back and forth to each other. And, if they have an idea of what's coming up or if they want to develop something for the next kind of group thing, they can do that while one of the characters is having the spotlight on the mic. All right, well, hope you can join us on Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern for the Walker of Waterdeep. Hope you can join us 8 p.m. Thursday evenings for the Sword Coast Chronicles. We'd love to see you there. All right, everybody, take care. And just remember, anytime you are at the table, try to make your games memorable so you can have tales that you can share from your table as well. Good night, everybody.